And we're back for another live reading. Today will be Chapter 3 of Jordan's World. Chapter 3, The Hunt. Jordan leaped onto the massive beast, which was at least 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide. She grabbed onto its long fur with both hands, pulled herself up behind its head, and stabbed the back of its neck with her razor-sharp, twin-bladed javelin. The Sastan swatted at Jordan with its claws, missing her face but shredding into her left arm, knocking her to the ground. Zaska scooped her up and out of harm's way, while Raban climbed the animal and finished what Jordan had started, slicing at it with Jordan's javelin, shoving the blade in deep and leaning against its head with all its might until it gave way. Zaska inspected Jordan's injured arm as they both sat on the ground. When she quickly determined that it was still attached, she smiled. "The bleeding is not that bad," Zaska said. "You will have some impressive scars." "Yes, I know I will." Jordan winced at the pain and held her arm tight while Zaska grabbed some bandaging cloth from her bag. "Will she be able to travel?" Raban asked, concerned. "Yes, but she will probably need our help," Zaska replied. Jordan closed her eyes and gritted her teeth to endure the burning aggravation of Zaska wrapping the bandaging cloth around her injured arm. "She will have that," Raban insisted. "Why did you let her attack first?" Zaska asked. "She took lead, Zaska. That is her right, and her strike was good. The hunt is ours. But now she is hurt. That is a risk we all take on the hunt. What are you really saying?" Jordan relaxed some and opened her eyes, now that her arm was fully bandaged. She saw Zaska look up at Raban. Her mouth was open and ready to say more, but evidently she changed her mind. "I suppose it does not matter," Zaska said, looking down. "But how will we carry all the meat now?" "We will manage," he rebutted. "Will it carry itself? Will your mystery princess show up with her palace guards, and they will all haul a bag?" Jordan saw Raban's eyes narrow in a disappointed stare towards his mate. "How can you be jealous of a princess from a story?" he asked. "Who said I was jealous? I was just making a point." "A very stupid point. Look who is talking." Jordan used the bickering between the two of them to distract herself from her soreness and the stabbing sensation where she had been clawed. She wished that Bhopal was here, but his sister Mitas had needed him to help her train some new hunters, while her normal assistant recovered from an illness. She knew Bhopal could have made quick work of the Sastan and perhaps prevented her injury, or he would have stayed by her side until he knew his friend was doing better. Even though Jordan had trained for almost 6 months to become good enough to participate in the hunt, and was one of the better hunters in the tribe, that wasn't enough to prevent occasional injury. Hunting could be deadly. Each season, the tribe knew that a handful would not return. When she felt a little better, Jordan assisted Zaska and Raban in stripping the Sastan of its meat, fat, and skin. Raban even removed one set of claws to hastily craft a crude necklace for Jordan. He handed it to her proudly. "A trophy. How would you say, pay back for your wounds?" Raban said. Jordan received the still bloody gift, amused that Raban had learned a few English words from her. She knew she would have to clean this trophy properly before wearing it, but she appreciated Raban's sentiment. Still holding it in one hand, she stood up with help from Zaska and turned towards the fallen animal. She clasped her hands together as she had been taught, making a semi-bow. "Thank you for your sacrifice, Magnificent One. It will not be in vain. Your death allows our village to live." "Thanks for sacrifice," Zaska and Raban said in unison, matching Jordan's actions. Over the next hour, they secured everything and prepared to head back with their bounty. "The spirit of the mountain is with us this time," Raban said. "With the size of this beast, we have a season's meat in one short hunt." "How long do you think it will take to get back to the village?" Jordan asked. Her stance was unsteady. Even her gaze and smile wavered. "Normally I would say 3 moons. But since you are hurt, we should go faster to get you to the healer, Raybon said. 2 moons, if fortune continues. Jordan was glad when Zaska came up to her and helped her remain standing by letting Jordan lean on her. Then you might have to carry me over your shoulder if I pass out, Jordan said. I will carry you if need be, Darkhair, Zaska assured. My mate needs to haul our prized meat. You do not want me to carry Jordan? You are jealous, are you not? Raybon said, delighted. It is exercise. Carrying her will increase my strength, Zaska replied. Are you saying she is heavy? Raybon asked. Yeah, I was wondering that too, Jordan added with mild irritation. Zaska rolled her eyes. You are both stupid. When the trio arrived less than 2 days later, most of the village was there to cheer and praise their successful hunt. Jordan endured it patiently as the healer thoroughly inspected her wounds to determine whether any were severe or infected. She was pleased when he pointed out that Zaska had cleaned her gashes and used the preventative ointment he had provided each hunter. Even so, she could not argue with his assessment that she would need a week's rest to recuperate from the blood loss and regain her strength. She was grateful when the healer gave her an herbal sedative for her pain. Jordan was glad when Gemta entered the healer's hut. The healer led her to her daughter's side. She sat on the ground next to her and gently put her hand on Jordan's right arm. Jordan put her own hand on top of her mother's and lightly squeezed. They say you fought a huge Saston, Gemta said. We beat him, Jordan answered weakly, and now the village will eat well this season. I am just glad you survived, Gemta said. Jordan squeezed her Gemta's hand again, more tightly this time. I will be fine, Gemta. I know, Gemta seemed not entirely convinced. Stop worrying. Gemta chuckled at that in spite of her concern. I am your Gemta. I am going to worry. There was a moment of awkward silence. Then Jordan closed her eyes and let the natural painkiller do its work. She will sleep for a few hours, Healer Latas said. I will make sure no further harm comes to her. Janice turned towards the sound of the healer's voice and nodded. Thank you, Healer. Janice walked outside the hut and listened to the sounds of life all around her. Children scurrying to and fro, playing games with each other. Adults were selling their wares and services. Birds were calling out to each other from the trees, their wings flapping loudly as they took off or landed. She could smell the community supper being prepared on the other side of the village, probably a stew or soup. Based on the aroma, she thought it probably included some of the meat obtained by Jordan and her hunting party. Small 4-footed feral animals stood by curious, panting as they watched the village or scampered by, looking for their own evening meal. A cold breeze blew past Janice. The temperatures would soon drop, possibly followed by a storm of some sort. She joined everyone for dinner and enjoyed the stew, but Jordan was never far from her thoughts. She checked back in on her daughter one more time after the meal. The healer assured Janice that her daughter would be fine, that she needed to rest, and that Janice should do the same at home. Reluctantly, Janice agreed. The next day, Zaska helped Jordan return to the hut she shared with her Gemta, where she would continue to recover. She also lingered to help Janice with Jordan and keep her friend company when she wasn't sleeping. Healer Latas told me that Bhopal stopped by to see you last night, but you were sleeping, Zaska said. Jordan smiled. I wish I could have seen him. I will thank him later. Zaska's brow furrowed in consideration. Knowing him, he was probably very worried about you. Great. Are you trying to make me feel guilty? Zaska stood up and deliberately changed the subject. Can I get you some water, or maybe some tea? You look thirsty. Zaska was slightly disappointed when Jordan shook her head. Healer Latas also praised my quick treatment and bandaging of your wounds, Zaska mused. He said I probably saved your arm. Then I am grateful, seeing as how I need both of my arms. There's no shame in losing a limb to the hunt, Zaska added. I have known hunters who continued after losing an eye, ear, or hand. But not a whole arm? Zaska winced in sympathy as Jordan raised her injured arm to emphasize her point, and then clearly regretted it immediately. My grandfather lost feeling in his right arm after it was gnashed on by a Kortznika, Saskia interjected. Okay, at least my arm will be fine. What matters is that your mind is intact, Jordan. There are ones who took wounds and lost the will to continue being hunters. They had to learn other skills, other trades, and they were no longer the same. Jordan rested her right hand on Saskia's shoulder, a determined, resolute look on her face. I will always be a huntress. No beast or injury can take that from me. That is the Jordan I know. Heh, who else would I be? They laughed and talked for a while longer until Janice returned, and Jordan became tired again. Saskia helped her friend into her kelkano. We all will choose other professions when we have passed our prime, Saskia said. The hunt has always been for the young. For now, this is our time. I understand. I will see you tomorrow. It took almost 10 days for Jordan to regain her strength and heal from her wounds. Once she had, Jordan was summoned to see Chiefess Kitchenor. Walking alongside her daughter en route to the chiefess's large hut, Gemta had become very adept with using a walking stick and had no difficulty matching Jordan's pace. Once inside, she and Jordan sat facing the chiefess. Kitchenor appeared to be around the same age as Gemta. She was tall for a Makta and kept her hair surprisingly long. Her face was round and friendly, but her eyes were sharp and warrior-like. Kitchenor had numerous scars on her arms, legs, neck, and one that stretched across her nose. Some were from her younger cycles as a huntress, and others were from more recent battles, helping defend the tribe. Kitchenor's mate, Latas, was the village healer. Out of respect, Jordan was silent but attentive. Latas sat nearby next to Jordan and her Gemta. How is this promising young hunter, Healer Latas? Kitchenor asked, wearing a knowing grin. Already eager to show off her new scars and trophy necklace, Latas answered with a light chuckle. She is well and can resume the hunt. That is excellent news, Kitchenor replied. The chiefess looked at Gemta, the smile never quite leaving her face. Tell me, Janice, is it not time for your daughter to select a mate? She is of age, and there are many ideal males to choose from. Chiefess? Gemta asked, surprise marking her face. With respect, forgive, Chiefess? Jordan interjected. Kitchenor nodded in approval. Speak. The hunting season is just beginning, Jordan pleaded. Is this really the time to settle down and have a family? Kitchenor issued a small laugh. You still have much to learn, Jordan. What? Jordan looked at Kitchenor and her Gemta in confusion, with a raised eyebrow. This village does have other hunters, child. You can take time to mate and bear young, and someday you will teach your children to hunt. But Chiefess, I am not of this world. Jordan's heart raced from nervousness. Even if I were ready, could I even have children with one of the tribe? Kitchenor winked at Jordan. Our peoples are more alike than different, and the best way to find out is to try, is it not? Jordan's eyes widened once she realized what the chiefess was really saying. You were from Earth, but now you are on Algaran. You are Makta, and we are one people, Kitchenor said. Take your time, Jordan, and pick a good mate. Then we will celebrate the continuation of the tribe. As you say, Chiefess, Jordan nodded, obedient but unsure. I will do. And that is the end of Chapter 3.